Right. Okay. So for those who are not watching, by the way, this episode is going to be on YouTube. Well, she says, but I have faith it will be on YouTube. But we have Brian, sorry, your background.
Yeah, it has to
What
be
is
on
going
YouTube
on?
because of my background. You see my background? I'm manifesting a holiday in my life. Tropical, palms, palm trees, waves, blue
Mm-hmm.
seas, white
Mm-hmm.
sands. I'm manifesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Take
yeah.
me
No,
to Barbados any day. I'm
Barbados.
manifesting.
Barbados, yeah. So if you guys are listening, we're on Zoom. So Brian has a island, like a beach behind him.
And it's
Uh,
moving.
yes, and it's moving. And then I'm somewhere with a whole like ring light. So we very much look like we're two different. So I'm here looking light skinned, well, which I'm not.
Oh, wow.
So we need to so next year or end of the year, guys, please keep supporting our podcast so that, we can gift Brian, like a good setup. We can
A
get him a
good
ring
setup?
light.
No. Give me a holiday to Barbados.
Listen,
The ring light can wait a little bit. Just give it to Barbados, mate.
small steps, small steps, small steps. But anyway, guys, you're listening to Chat with Nat with me, Natasha. My friends call me Nat, so you can too. And we have here our very special regular guest, Mr. Brian Lunga. Brian, how are you?
Hi, how you doing? How's everybody doing in this beautiful, I don't know, is it daylight? I don't know when you're gonna listen to this, but hi.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh man, you know what? It's been so hot. But at least I think this week they said it's gonna be a bit better. So we're in the UK, by the way, if you guys are listening in different places. But I think like the weather has kind of been extreme, like in most places around the world, and
Yeah, it's been very muggy. Even now, it's quite muggy actually. But I was speaking to a couple of people that landed from New York a few days, was it? Yeah, a couple of days ago, so Saturday, and we're just chatting, and we were like, "Listen, this feels so much better right now." But we're like, I was like, 32 degrees the other day. They're like, "Yeah, that's totally fine. I'd
yeah.
rather that." And New York has been 100 Fahrenheit, ugh, which is about 40 degrees, I think, if
Oh
I'm not
my
mistaken.
goodness.
So yeah, so they were like, we've been baking and we've been very hot. But they got luxury of having aircon, so it works for them, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what's up about this. Like no aircon, no nothing. Then the other day I was literally melting. I went to work and I put like a little bit of makeup before I got to work. I, I looked like I don't know what was going on. Like literally it was just like sweating out
You know
of
them
my face.
paintings that kids draw.
Yeah.
A little smudge.
Not the one you put on the fridge, like, oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
it's like, oh, it's a little smudge, but okay, well done.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. But anyway, this is one of the things I've realized with tea, I've spent too long away from home, away from them. When I start talking about the weather, I'm like literally like as soon as I start talking about the weather, I'm like, oh no, because when I first came here, people would be like, oh my God, it's a lovely day. And I used to think, what? Thinking, what are they on about? They'll be
It's
like, oh my
sunny.
God, it's really lovely today. Oh, it's supposed to be raining tomorrow. And I'm thinking, why are these people obsessed with the weather? Hmm.
Then you go 1 week of non-stop rain. Then you
Mm-hmm.
realize, yep, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Then you go the whole of December and it's just dark, muggy, or not muggy, but gloomy, and it's just freezing, it's icy. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, no. But anyway, guys, so no, let me do this at the end. I was gonna do the whole we're going on a break.
yeah,
Should
do
I
that
do
at
it
the end.
now? Yeah, I'll do that at the end because
You can say your goodbyes. Goodbye, my
so you guys
love.
need to stay. You need to stay till the end. But anyway, before we get into this episode, just a recap from last episode. So last week, put up an episode where I was talking about the story of the young boy who was born in England, and his parents sent him back to Ghana to boarding school, and he lodged a, like, there was a legal thing, right? They went to court where he got some lawyers to fight for him to come back to the UK, and I believe the judgment was the judge agreed that, you know what, the parents were doing what they thought was in the best interest of the child, because the parents were like, you know what, he is sort of associating with people that are gang affiliated, and we don't want him to get caught up in gangs, and that's why we've sent him back home. And yeah, and basically the judge sided with the parents. So did an episode about that. If you haven't checked it out, please do. The episode is called Go Back Home. So listen to that. And I was just playing different perspectives from different people about the whole thing. And let me try and play this. So Connie I sent a voice note on Instagram, just talking about this. So I thought it was really, really good. So I'm just gonna play it. So just I hope this works.
Talk about today on your solo episode about people who take kids back to Africa. Um, well, I think especially if you believe that your child's life is in danger or they're going to ruin their life with the lifestyle that they're living, and you're trying to calm them down, like, help them clear their headspace, because, overseas, there's a lot that
Bear with me. Instagram does that. Oh.
like back home when you're at a boarding school. It is different, right? It's like your mind is circled. You only have whatever what they're doing is all that you do. There's nothing else. But then where I have an issue with that is if you have a good kid, like for example, I have a colleague who did that, like this year actually, this year or last year. Um, his daughter was going to high school here in the States, and was moving from middle school to high school. And they decided that she's going to go back to Cameroon for high school, so that so that she goes to a boarding school in Cameroon. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, is your kid bad? Like, did something happen? Like, is she in danger or what? And he just said, no, we just want our kid to learn the same things that we did. So we're just taking her to a boarding school in Africa. Mind you, this is a kid who was in Africa, was born in Africa, right? Uprooted, came to the US, I think did primary school and a little bit of middle school. Then now you're going back there. Like for me, I was telling that guy that this is so much for the kid, man, especially if the kid hasn't done anything wrong, you know? Like this kid didn't do anything wrong. But so twali imchaqana yakho back to Africa. And the kid comes on holiday. I actually met the little girl like last week. This guy, cause she came um for holiday, cause schools are closed, and she just came for a holiday before she goes back to school. And because of all the traveling and everything, the kid is even feeling well. She has malaria. So for me, I think parents should only do it like as a last resort, like what the person, like the social worker said, that like as a last resort where you have tried all other means to keep your kids safe, but you have failed, like you're at a point where you have no options and you're like, what, mntanam, for sake of ukuthi impilo yakhe iphumelele, let me just take you back, and like you said, I think the parent should go to show the support for this kid, like at least visit there often, go. Because now, as a parent, now for me, what annoyed me, especially with my colleague, was when as a parent, you ran away from the misery of Africa, what uh, wathatha abantwana and everything. You brought them here to the US. Now you're like, no, 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 the education system in the US is so bad. I want my kid to go back and learn the values that we learned, Tina, like Tina, as the parents, that we learned in Africa. Mind you, Africa is different too. Things isn't just as it's not what it used to be with Dala. So yeah, it's a very sensitive topic. I wish parents like really think through things that they put kids through, because some of these, it's just not, it's so unnecessary. It's just unnecessary trauma on the kid, the instability that you bring to your kid. Anyway, I'm so
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to play the whole thing because I totally agreed with what Connie said, because let me tell you something. Back home is not the same. Like if you've been like to Zim or Lai or whatever, like it would be unfair to be like, oh, I want to take my child back home because it's so different. The landscape is different. But yeah, no, I thought that was really, really important. And I think it's probably a conversation that we will keep having. And I think it's kind of linked to the whole like romanticizing back home, right? Romanticizing back home. And also there's something about you taking responsibility. If you have chosen to migrate and go to a different environment, you kind of need to own that, right? Because it even extends to things like where people are like, oh, I want my child to only marry, this, from this culture, from our culture, from this particular tribe. It's like, well, if you really wanted that, you should have stayed like where that culture and tribe is, you
Facts.
know. Uh,
Facts.
um, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. Um,
Yeah, it's
mhm.
just I listen, I agree. I just think we romanticize things way too much as human beings and as Africans to a degree. I generally think that conversations are to be had. If you're so desperate for your child to really reconnect with your motherland, cool. Start at home. Speak in the language. Show them whatever practices that you know that you think are so important that they need to learn. um, Take them to summer camps back home, whatever it is, go with them, do this and that with them. There's so many things that they do. I know, like, for example, I forgot the name of that program that's at Escodini. It's a sort of a cultural exchange program that they have. These kids go camping there and
Mhm.
then they'll go to Matopos, spend a couple of days camping in Matopos, doing all those sort of things. Guess what? It's always filled with white boys instead and white girls,
Oh,
right? None of our
wow.
kids don't go there. If you're so desperate for that sort of environment to send them into that African environment, small things like that. This month, this summer, they go to that camp. Next
Mhm.
summer, they go home and see the family. The summer after, they go to the village for a couple of weeks with you there. All those little things, that's what you do. But what you can't do is just chuck your like you're saying, you can't just chuck your child in there and then expect them not to
Mhm.
have any issues with you later on when it comes to abandonment and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's virtually impossible,
Mm,
unless of course it's a drastic action of, this is what's happening. But
mm,
even if you take them home now and leave them at a boarding school, there's no guarantees they're going to fit back in.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
no guarantees. Culture shock is a thing. Reverse culture shock is a huge thing.
Yep.
Ngatu kusehlula, when you're an old person right now moving and migrating from Zim to here or from
Mm-hmm.
Zim to South Africa to Zim or wherever you're migrating to, and you're
Yeah.
an old person in your 40s, culture shock will kill you.
Yep.
Right. And then if you decide, let me pack my bags after 20 years, I'm 70 years old now, let me pack my bags, go back home, reverse culture shock will still hit you.
Yep.
I've just learned to accept it, to accept a simple fact. I am in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm neither European,
Mm,
I'm neither African, in the
mm,
sense of fully adapting into that environment whenever I go, or fully adapting to the environment here when I'm here. It's
yes.
very difficult.
Mm,
Could I adapt after 3, 4 months, a year, 2 years there? Yeah. But
mm,
always, whenever I meet somebody that's moved to England, I always tell them it takes 5 years to adapt to English life.
yep.
Minimum 5 years. Don't get too excited after 1 year thinking I've cracked it. You haven't. The
Yeah.
society in England, there's too many layers with it. Too many layers. Just when you think you know it all, after 10 years, you learn something new and you're like,
Yep.
okay, I'm only just a rookie in this life.
Yep.
Right? It has too many layers.
I was having this same conversation last week. I was like, I've been here for 20, like 2023 years or whatever, right? I've
Yeah.
been here more than I was in Zim, but I was in a situation where I was, socializing with, like proper English people. And you know what? I was like,
Proper English
nah,
people.
okay, you know what I
Yeah, I know
mean,
what you
right?
mean. I know what you mean. There's layers to these things.
And I'm talking about like middle class, kind
Middle
of
middle
upper
class,
middle
yeah.
class. You
Yeah.
know that the whole like they all went to Oxbridge and
Yeah. Or
and
went to
because
Russell schools. Or
exactly
we
because
went to Marlborough boarding school.
exactly and because I'm in London, I realized that I think probably the like more of the white people I'll be honest like that I have always kind of engaged with are probably very like working class
Yeah.
and or have working class backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
Parents
As
or
much as you're moving up the social ladder,
exactly.
they still have that background. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, like, there's a lot of shared things sometimes
Yeah.
with like working class people, living in East London or Essex or whatever, right? But when you start speaking to those like, middle class and they went to good schools and everything, and then like you just hear the things that they talk about, the sports. Like, there's someone who talked about like, what sport is this? That I was like, what is this? Lawn something. I was like, wait, what is this sport, right? And I was just sitting there, and then they would talk about all these different places, like, oh, have you been to, this place? They would just talk about this
That's
place, and I'm
it.
thinking, I was
Not
like,
when they start talking about the south of France here, like it's yeah.
and all of them go to the south of France, right?
Yeah,
And
all south of France, and we managed to get on Daddy's boat, and oh my God, it was so lovely. We managed to open a bottle of champagne when we were there, and watch the sunset, and it was just a lovely afternoon. And you're just like, okay,
listen, and the point that you're making that you you think like the society, it takes a while. And the same conversation I was having, I was like, you know what? There's something about because I was speaking to my friend about, okay, why is it that she's really into like property, right? I was like,
yeah,
so why do they say like when black people move into the neighborhood or Asian people, whatever, why do house prices go down, right? So obviously it was like, she was like, let me be honest with you. It's things like um like how you look after like the basics, right? How you look after
yeah,
like your front lawn. And then she was like, also, uh there's something she was like sometimes like immigrants especially like are very flashy. So I was like, okay, so what does that have to do with
mate.
she was like, yeah, so for example, if you live in a certain neighborhood and like you're driving like Range Rovers or whatever, like people kind of look at you
Doesn't make sense. Yeah,
because in their mind, and I was like, but why does that matter? Because it's someone's car. She was like, no, it's a whole thing. And then I
mate.
was then speaking to someone in my family, right, who was saying that certain consultants that in the hospital where she works, right,
Yeah.
he was kind of like, there's another consultant who's like a Nigerian who got a Ferrari. And literally these guys were just so like, what the
Why?
hell? Why are you buying a Ferrari? Like, like, why are you, first of all, why are you buying a Ferrari? Um, what's the need? And then she was kind of thinking, like, but why do they care? But then it was a whole thing where it was like, no, when people are like middle, like she's like, it says something about
Yeah.
you, like the type of car that you drive, and not in a way that we take it. We take it as wow. They
Hey,
take it
Ule
as
Mali. Ah, he's successful. Ah, look at him. Yo.
they take it as, is
No.
your mortgage paid off? No.
It
So what
no,
are you
because
doing?
yeah, everything has to make financial sense.
Yeah.
There's levels to how they approach these things. There's levels
Mm,
to everything.
yeah.
Because even right now, private schools, there's levels to private schools.
Yeah.
Right? A kid that went to, for example, King Henry is different from a kid that went to Marlborough.
Mm,
Right? Kid that
mm,
went to Marlborough Girls College is very different from a kid that went to Wellington College. It's very different to a kid that went to Winchester.
yeah.
There is levels even within that spectrum.
Yeah.
Right? I have seen some houses.
Mm,
People own houses. You know when you're driving through Surrey, we don't
mm-hmm.
even have house numbers anymore. It's
Yeah.
house names. Yeah.
Like Coombe, like those areas, Coombe, Richmond, where it's just names, like
When
the
you go into
staples.
you go into proper the deep places and it's just house names, never mind numbers. Welcome to whatever cottage. And then you drive in and the cottage is like a 7 bedroom cottage. And then outside it's just a simple little Toyota that's parked.
Yep.
Because to them, a car is a convenience tool of going A to C.
Yeah.
Why should I spend X amount on insurance?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Why
Yeah.
should I spend X amount on servicing it? Doesn't make sense. Tires cost £500 each. Doesn't make sense. I can get all 4 tires for £200,
Yeah.
right? All those little factors. And then
Yeah.
all that spare money that then goes into one major thing that we tend to forget: experiences.
Yeah.
Because you can never take your experiences away. No
Yeah.
one can take that away from you. People can take your house away, they can take your car away, but the
Mm.
experience of going somewhere, learning a different culture, speaking a different language, doing different things really
Mm.
puts you in a different stead. Being able to play the piano makes you it puts in a different conversation altogether, because all of a
Yeah.
sudden now when you're talking to somebody that can read music, you understand each other. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you play it in G minor, C minor, and E
Yeah.
major, it just does this.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it was so lovely. It's a different conversation altogether.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm sitting there talking about groove. Like, come on.
Let me tell you, like I like the way like the conversation has just naturally like evolved. Because there was a point in when I came here where I thought, yeah, like I figured out this place, like I know this place. But now I'm realizing that there's layers that you just won't know. Like there's
You
layers
don't know, you'll never know.
like from the people that I live like at just St. Albans beyond like the M20. It is a different world, which
Yeah,
gets me to there is I need to research on this and maybe we'll talk about it later. I really want to talk about, so like in the UK, class is a thing, right? The
yeah,
class system is a thing. But I do think there is something about the way like immigrants interact with the class system where it doesn't necessarily, I don't know if we neatly fit in to like the, obviously naturally I think a lot of us would just say we're working class just because maybe financially, you know what I mean, and all those things. But actually, if you think about it, some people back home where we're not working class, right? We're probably middle
yeah,
class. Although Zim is a bit difficult because, because of the economy, like the middle class was literally wiped out, right? But when we say middle class, you kind of know what I'm saying,
yeah,
right? Even
yeah,
it's a way of thinking, it's a way of approaching life, it's the experiences that you have,
yeah,
right? Um, that I sometimes think it doesn't. neatly fit in. Like I realize sometimes when I'm talking to people and I'm like, yeah, I'm working class, but there's certain things where like I'm sure they're also like, it doesn't really sound very working classy.
Basically, you and Dave down the road.
Yeah.
You all right, man? How are ya? You all right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are not really clicking. But
Yeah.
then the guy up top there that's been to Winchester College, you're not
Yeah.
really clicking.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the guy at Winchester College is talking about skiing trips. So you're like,
Yeah.
well, that's a different world. Dave down the road is talking about, yeah, I was buzzing last night and this happened. We're not really
No,
clicking.
but I've got an example for you where you would click.
Yeah.
Rugby.
Oh, yeah.
There's rugby coming
Yeah.
up. And
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
can have a whole conversation
Yeah.
just because of your upbringing and how
Yeah.
you grew
Rugby and
up in
cricket.
Zim,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You can talk rugby, cricket, and I think sometimes that's why Zimbabweans do well in these abroads
Mm.
because I think you know some people obviously they've had this experience, but anyway that leads me neatly into, oh, anyway, I did want to talk about, okay, let's go in order, right?
All
um
right.
what's
Let's do
happening
it.
in the African continent, although the Zim rugby thing is a big thing, so I'll give you the floor. If there's anything like from the political, and then we can talk about the rugby, or maybe we can start with the rugby so that we don't mess up with the flow.
I'll just quickly, briefly,
Yeah.
there's not anything huge that has changed the political landscape, in my opinion, anyway, over the past sort of week. But um, one of them is, obviously Trump is going hard, deporting people from the US into African countries. That's starting to happen. I think about three arrived in Eswatini recently. The
Wait,
king,
sorry.
yeah,
From are they from Eswatini?
nope.
Wait, what?
I
I
think
missed
think
this.
there was one that was like from Venezuela or something. I can't even
Wait, I
remember.
missed this.
Some
Please,
random countries.
no, please update us. What?
Yeah. So they're deporting and they have, it's very similar if you're in the UK when we were talking about the Rwanda deal here with Priti Patel and what's our face? Suella Braverman. And we're talking about those deals. So it's very similar to that. So they are deporting people that either can't go back to their home country for one reason or another. They're deporting them to third countries. And Eswatini was one. They received three. US Air Force dropped three off from random places in the world. One is from a couple from South America, if I'm not mistaken. But you can do your Googles on that and have a look. But yeah, that's where we are now. That is where we are.
I am so shocked.
Yep. Yep. I
I
mean, financially, these countries are getting a bit of money. So if you're Eswatini and you're getting about, 100 million on top of your annual budget, it makes sense. But how then do you guarantee that these people are not a danger to the society or the communities that they are living in? Is a whole different conversation altogether. But the king assures everybody that they are not a danger to the communities. And even though some apparently are convicted criminals, that's another story altogether. But yeah, that's where we are. That is where we are. And another thing that the US is now doing is that a lot of foreign visitors, I think Nigeria is one of them. People from Nigeria will correct me. I've not looked into this quite deeply. But they're starting to get what they call a visa integrity fee. I think it's about $250 that you have to pay now on top of everything else, if I'm not mistaken. That just to make sure that you actually can afford to go to the US and, be that guy.
that is that is liberties, guys. What? Did you see
Oh, that's actually popped up here. Listen, it says the US has deported five people whom it described as criminal illegal aliens to Eswatini. The deportees are originally from Vietnam, Jamaica, Laos, Cuba, and Yemen. So I was very off with the whole South America, Cuba. No, that's not South America. So I was very off with South America, but Jamaica, Vietnam, Cuba, Yemen, and Laos are up there. So it's a bit, yeah, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they stay in Eswatini or if they make their way out. It will be interesting
Yeah, I
to
mean,
see what they
it's
choose to
been
do.
long rumored that Zim has always been a nice harboring space for certain individuals that have been wanted right across the continent and abroad, especially with the Rwanda genocide. Apparently, a few fled to Zim.
Mm.
So these are um, I don't have concrete proof of this. Please don't quote me. Don't say, oh, Brian wathi. Hayi, lingakhulumi njalo. Lithi lezwa lana somewhere emakhoneni. Angithi.
But yeah, no, that's interesting. We'll be following closely.
Yeah, yeah,
Because remember the Rwanda thing, right? I think there
yeah,
was at least I know at least one person who voluntarily went to
yeah.
Rwanda, and listen, I don't have confirmation, but someone said I haven't. I forget. Someone said I have a nudge. Anyway, I believe this person is from Zim. Listen, I just looked at the facts. This was a voluntarily like chose
Yeah,
to go. And remember, when you go to Rwanda, you're given accommodation. Plus,
yeah.
you're given an allowance for I think it was like 5 years or something, right?
Cheers.
You're given. I was like, which country? Like, let me think about like which countryman do I know would be like, you know what?
If we're in Nigeria, it's Zim.
Exactly, exactly. So I'm thinking, like, imagine, like, Eswatini, if like someone from Zimbabwe, like, and especially if it's saying you're getting all of that, like, you get an allowance, you get this, you
Yeah.
get that, you get that, you'd be like, oh,
Listen,
happy days.
Swati and Ndebele are pretty much very similar languages. So you
Yeah,
just blend in.
yeah. Me that I'm originally Swazi.
Yeah, is that you?
Yeah,
Cheers. Kill him. Just go back home, Eswatini. Join the guys from Yemen and Vietnam.
yeah. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now over to rugby World Cup
Uh,
2027.
yeah, Zim has qualified for the Rugby World Cup 2027, which which is a great milestone because they hadn't done it since 1991. Anyone who's involved in any level of sport will know how difficult it is just to be training for a sport, let alone, being involved in high level competitions and winning that tournament because they won the Africa Rugby Cup. Um, it's a great achievement, but do I have my reservations about Zim sport in general? I haven't been involved in sport for a while. I certainly do, but that's just me having my reservations. I will not take the shine off Zim rugby yet.
Don't take the shine off. Don't start. We lead with love over here. We lead with love. But no, I want you to talk about it because you played rugby. Like, tell us. I want a bit more
No, rugby was
passion, more
school.
energy.
Rugby was
And I
school.
know it was school.
Then I transitioned rather, to American football,
Yeah, but it's the same
which yeah,
family of sport,
same
hun.
family of sports. Yeah, which I've been playing for a while now and coaching for almost 10, 15 years or something.
Mm,
But listen, it's a great achievement nonetheless. And my biggest worry with Zoom sports in general has always been um, nepotism,
yeah.
tribalism, racism in general. That's always
Mm,
been my biggest problem with Zim sport. Do I think we will go to Australia, the World Cup, and actually achieve anything? If I'm very honest, if they do, it means that over the next 2 years, they need to put in such huge amount of work, not only in the gym, but in terms of recruitment. Not
mm,
only in recruitment, but they also need to play a lot more really top level teams.
yeah.
They need to pick a very good squad that's based on fairness and ability. That is the only way we can go to Australia and cause an upset. Let me
Mm,
give you a bit of context. Zim played Namibia to win the cup. And last year, was it last year or 2 years ago when they played again? It was Namibia again in the final. Now, to give you a lot more context to it, is that Namibia has been to the Rugby World Cup for donkey's years in a row. They've never won a game. If you think about how tight the game was, Zim and Namibia, and the previous game, Zim and Kenya, to get to this point. They were tight games, very tight. But the Namibia that has been a force in African rugby for a while has not. African rugby circuit, and we take South Africa out because it's a tier one country, right? Has not managed to do anything in the Rugby World Cup. In fact, in 2001, they had the biggest losing margin ever in a World Cup, 142 points to nil against Australia. Is it 142, 143? Someone will correct me. You can do your Googles, but it's 140 something against Australia. 143 nil. If you put it in football terms, abatandi bora, soccer. If you put it in football terms, it's like getting thumped 15 nil, right? To 20 nil even. That's the level we're talking at here. The standard of tier one nations to the next pool is very, very high. It's very, very different. So if you're talking about the England, the Australias, the Wales, the France, New Zealand, you're talking about different beasts altogether. Ireland, those are different beasts you're talking about. South Africa. Now South Africa doesn't even play in the Africa Cup. They walked away a while back because it just didn't make sense for them. Like, why would South Africa go and play Namibia and Zim or Kenya? It doesn't make any financial sense to begin with. They don't get anything from it. In fact, they lose money from going to play your Kenyas, your New South Africa, your Namibias. Now, maybe Zim or Namibia, they could fill the stadium because everyone is excited to see South Africa versus Zim or Namibia. But beyond that, it's literally half empty stadiums. Even now, Zim versus Namibia was played in a half empty stadium. It wasn't that full. So it doesn't do anything for them. It actually loses money and they're better spent off touring better nations. What they could do is maybe send a development squad to play against Zim, where you get the guys that are trying to come through into the first team to go and play against your Zims and stuff. But the competition is very, very high. And in a nutshell, we need to work hard in the next 2 years to get to that point. Sables are a decent team with a lot of international players. A couple of guys that play within the English circuit, and I think one or two in France, and some are in South Africa, which are strong rugby clubs. But I just think if everything is done on merit, we have a chance. If things are not done on merit, let's forget about it.
Mm. No, thank you so much for that. Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, I wonder what they have to do like the next 2 years. And as we know, like with a lot of Zim sport, the problem is a lot of people are self-funding. So
Yeah.
when you don't really have like proper, government support, proper infrastructure, so I think that's one of the things that I was like, oh, you know what, good on them, because I don't know this, but I'm sure I am right in saying this was because of them. This is just because of individuals who are like,
Yeah.
guys, let's do it, let's try. Nothing to do with the government supporting. So really, it to me it shows, even like netball, the girls are so good. They're
Mhm.
so good. Like if you've watched Zim netball, but a lot of it is they just don't have the support. Like if you don't have Econet, sponsoring you,
Yeah.
I know Econet gets a lot of flag, but
They're
like they
holding up a lot
try.
of tournaments around the country.
Yeah, they try. So you're just relying on your Econet or one of the insurance companies.
Old
Um,
Mutual, what diaspora insurance.
yeah, like
That's it.
CPZ, like it's like supporting you.
Yeah.
So I hope that this kind of, although these government people, they don't get embarrassed by anything. Uh
It's embarrassing. I mean, the president did give them $100,000 a couple of weeks back, but
too little too
listen,
late. I mean,
$100,000 in the context of rugby is like
is
throwing a
nothing.
pebble in a sea.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything really, because after you've taken accommodation cost food cost. Food alone for rugby players before we even get
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Them man have to eat if they're in camp. Not
Yeah.
just small food. They have
Yeah.
to eat four meals a day, 5 meals a day.
Yeah.
Give them everything they need. Before we even
Mm-hmm.
talk about backroom staff, having a proper masseuse, having a proper physician, having a
Mm.
proper this and that,
Mm.
having a proper strength and conditioning. That's just the backroom stuff. And I haven't
Yeah.
even touched half of it. You haven't
Yeah.
even spoke about an analyst. You need about two, three analysts that spend the whole day just analyzing the game to feed back to the coaches,
Mm.
right? You're talking about the head coach. Now, those guys also need to be looked after. Now, we haven't
Yeah.
even started to speak about the administration side who love going everywhere. Right? All of them want to be there in their green
Yeah.
suits and yeah, I
Yeah.
was there
Yeah.
contributing absolutely nothing, but they want to be there. So
Yeah.
that's already 50,000 gone before we even say anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yeah.
being generous when I say 50,000 because what are you going to pay the fee, the strength and conditioning coach and the physician 5,000 each? It's
Mm.
nothing.
Mm.
All
Mm.
right. And I'm being just generous here. We haven't even spoke about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
100,000 is absolutely zero. They need a
Yeah.
good funding. You actually need to have a good sort of base. A sport that needs a lot of funding and a sport that needs more than $100,000. You're talking about being in a situation where you can even have centralized contracts to say if you're playing for Zimbabwe over the next 5 years or 3 years or 2 years, depending on how old they are, what level of talent they have, you'll get X amount and you'll be tied down to this contract, play for Zimbabwe. And then you're talking about also having another pool of players that are in similar contracts that are maybe more of performance based contracts, where if you do well, you get X amount and then be pushed into the first team. Something that we lack right across all our sports in the country, where unfortunately the talent is there, but there's no frameworks in place that actually produce and push talent through. We see this in Zim cricket so much that you look at Zim cricket, the circuits around, there's so many good players, but they're not being pushed into the Zim A team and then from Zim A team into the first team. There's got to be a carousel of players coming in and out to be able to manage one, the workload of other players. Secondly, the first team players should be able to give wisdom to the younger players coming in. There's got to be a good blend all the time. It can't just be, we'll stick with the same group every time. And then when they fail, we'll go, we'll try again. They fail again. We'll try again. What are we trying? What are we trying, really and truly? I think for someone that has had disappointments with Zoom sports personally, when I used to have a bit of talent and that, went on to almost represent Zim. And not only did this happen to me, it also happened to my younger sister. That's a whole story altogether. But we had exactly the same experience, um, 10 years apart or 5 years apart, however long it was. Right? We had exactly the same experience of almost representing Zim at a sport, and we were strategically pushed out, so to speak. It always fascinates me that when I look at Zim rugby, Zim cricket, Zim football, soccer, all the way to your netballs and your hockey. I always look at those teams and I see the first starting lineup and I look across and say, through all these teams, all of them, we could only manage to pull one person that is Ndebele speaking that can play a sport. That sounds very, I don't know, I feel that's not representative of what the country is. And then this also, in a way, leads me to I don't know if you saw the clip of the MP that was speaking in Parliament not long ago.
Yeah.
So we see that this is a tapestry of things and a
Mm.
mixture of things that are way above everybody else. It's never made sense to me that when you look at the Zim team, even that rugby team that played the final World Cup, congratulations to them. They represent Zimbabwe. I can never take that away from anybody that has put on, the national colors and went on to play for their country. That is a magnificent achievement. But it still bothers me that of all of them, not even one person would have Ndebele sounding name. Are we saying there's no I know two of the guys played at Milton or went to Milton. So, they can pass as people from Matabele and 100%. But are we saying there's not even one guy that has a Ndebele name that is very good at rugby? Maybe I'm just clutching at straws here, but I digress. I'll stop for now.
No, you're making really, really valid points. You're not because what you're showing is that it doesn't start in one area, right? It cuts across and then it happens then what at the detriment of the country, right? Because
100%.
we could have, you know, better players, and all that stuff, but then yeah,
There's a lot of
yeah.
kids that, due to obviously coaching, I've been coaching for a while. So there's a lot of kids that I've come across, you know, Abogongwenya, Dlovu, that are playing in these, British academies, English academies, guys that are playing for really, really good teams and are doing very, very well. Um, and I'm just like, they're not even having a conversation with the Zim team at all to say, how do we get you into the team? How do we integrate? How can we use your talent somewhere, somehow? They're not even having that conversation. To the point that some of them have almost got to a point where they don't even want to have a conversation anymore. I don't want to represent Zim. If I get an opportunity to represent England, even if it's at a lower level, under 21, I will do it. And if I stop there in my international career, I'll be happy with that. This is happening right across cricket, right across rugby, right across football, right across swimming. And then you wonder, how then do you encourage the next level of talent to come up? Because if they've given up and not having an interest, and even the parents also giving up, saying, what's the point? You
It's
see?
Yeah, it's that's teapot.
Hey,
I'm
that
on
people
Divis Chwala.
disease.
Oops.
Listen, I want Zim to do well, and I think
Yeah.
Zim has all the talent in the world to compete at a very high level with any country in this world. But we
Mm.
need to set up the right frameworks, not only from having the right grassroots foundations, but having the right contract frameworks for people to actually have confidence in that I can make a career out of this, I can live out of this. Because if I have a 5 year contract with Zim cricket, Zim rugby over the next 5 years that I know will be paid no matter the situation. Even if I get dropped for the next 5 games, then it's on me to prove that I need to get back into that team. It's on me to prove that I need to get my performance based bonuses on top. So, really and truly, those things can be set up. That's how a lot of these teams survive, where some of their bigger stars don't even play club rugby anymore. Some of them are just literally concentrating on, I need to get fit for my country. If I go play club rugby, it's only 5 games and I'm back. It's just to keep me fit over 3, 4 months that we're not playing any games. And then I'm back again into the fold of the national team. New Zealand has one of the lowest populations in the world. How many are in New Zealand? 5 million?
Yeah, I think
But
about
it's
that.
one of the best when it comes to rugby and cricket.
Yeah. Mm.
Samoa. Samoa can break people's limbs. They're not going to win every game, but they will play hard. How many are there? There's hundred thousands of them in the country, in the islands. So it just proves that there's something we need to do.
Yeah.
And if we can't look at our cousins next door in South Africa and go, the Springboks has been, I've been a Springbok fan ever since I was a couple of years old. Right? I've always enjoyed how they played rugby. Um, and obviously the Proteas, obviously, and all that. But if we can't look at what they're doing well and then go from there, they've got a quota system in cricket when it comes to the South African team. But which Zim tried to introduce, by the way, and say there can only be 3, 4 whites per match day squad. But in South Africa, their quota system is over a period of time. That
Right.
X amount of black players over the next 4 years, 3 years should
Mm.
have played X amount of first class cricket or top international cricket or whatever the quota says. But you can't limit it to just 4 guys in the team. Because once
Yeah.
you start doing that, it means you're now just picking other guys to fill the other spots. Whereas if
Mm.
you say, okay, only certain amount can play over a 5 year cycle. It means even if you produce a team of just of 10 white guys today, it doesn't
Mm,
matter.
mm,
Let them
mm.
go play because we need to win that game. If they are white and they're all the best in the country, fine. Let them go play, win that game. It
Yeah,
just means then the other developmental games that we're playing in between, we can then make up the quarter if needs be.
yeah, yeah.
But I digress. I'm talking too much.
No,
I
no,
know a lot
no.
of people love sport, but I hope it gives you an insight
No, it
as to
does.
when we are now supporting such a country in Australia.
Not the Sadza country. But listen, you made a lot of good points. One of which that I took from this is that if anyone from the Sables is listening, who has power or can pull strings, you literally need Brian Lunga to be a consultant. Bring him on. Um,
Listen to you.
that's all I heard. Like I was hearing this, I was like, this sounds like this is, someone who's played the sport and also is an actual coach, like for American football, which is, like a family of sport.
Family sport.
So he knows how to do the managing side, he knows how to analyze, he knows, how to run
Oh,
a
good.
team, to bring
To
people together.
to give
So,
you context, in 2003 when England won the World Cup, um, the coach then went to America and
mm,
he spent months with American teams, American football teams,
mm,
seeing how they break down training, how they work on this and that.
mm,
And one thing that American football is good at is breaking down each position by position. So when he came
right.
back with the England squad, he broke them down
Mm,
to train as back row only, train as the front row,
mm,
train as the wingers only, work on your speed getting off, work on this. And this is how the England rugby managed to get through the World Cup because of everyone trained individually, then
yeah,
brought it all together. And when
yeah.
they did, first few times was a bit, you know,
Mm,
but then after that, it just became a well-oiled machine and it just
yeah.
went on and on. And
Yeah.
England were dominant. Sir Clive Woodward, that's what he did. He spent so much time in the States saying he
Mm,
needs to learn something from American football. I ain't
mm.
saying call me, but call me.
Well, I'm saying call him. Brian, please, when they do, 10, 12%, you know,
12% agent fees. This is my agent.
is my agent. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna have to bring this to a close, but I was gonna say, listen, all if I don't know, it's summer, people are outside. If you guys are going for concerts, make sure you are at a concert with whoever you're supposed to be at a concert with, because these artists are spotlighting like the Coldplay. They're out there, so you guys make sure you
Jeez.
don't get caught.
Jeez. Hey, and you know what? Those two, and whenever I look at that clip, I say,
Mm.
hey, those two loved each other. That was love. That wasn't even an affair anymore.
That is real love.
Because an affair, listen, affair, bruh, I was just thinking to myself, if I were to be involved in an affair like that,
Mm.
if we're standing there, we're work colleagues, it's gonna be stone how cold. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
touch you.
yeah,
Why am I touching you in
yeah.
public?
Let me tell you, that's the worst part of this whole thing. These two people really like at the very least, they really like each other, but I think they really love each other. That embrace, they were
Nah,
caught up in their own world. And someone has, she's I think she's the chief people officer,
yeah.
basically HR, and he's the CEO. They kind of seem like they're age mates. You maybe impolitically correct to say, but we've seen like a lot of these older men will go for the very younger. I mean, she's
Senior
she's a beautiful
colleagues.
woman, but very younger, because then
Mm,
you can kind of make that link that he's CEO, he's got money, but she has a good job, probably
yeah.
has money, is seasoned as well. I was like, now these people are in love. Did you
What's the
see
matter doing it? That's love.
that is they now either have to, I don't know what's gonna happen to them, but you remember the I forget the name, the couple who were on TV, on morning TV in the US together. Anyway, this black black guy, white woman. They now actually have a podcast. They both like divorced their partners and they're I forget the but anyway they were caught having an affair. But they're now together because it's now like what can we
Gotta
do?
do what you gotta do. Now
So
it's in the open. Let's get
yeah.
married.
But okay, so here's the one thing I will say about this whole thing. Um for me, I took it and I was like, listen, there's something that's happening in this season that everyone just needs to keep paying attention to. What's happening is just everything is getting exposed. So I think it's okay when people like ha 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 laugh. This is what we're laughing at this week, right? But I think we all need to realize that this season, like things, everything is just getting exposed. So for me it's just like and you need to sometimes be like okay like things are getting exposed. So whether yours may not be going to a concert with someone else, it may be you know someone I know doesn't pay for like plastic bags at Tesco. Like
Oh
sometimes they
wow.
say because they were like, this is them rebelling against the system. But maybe it's time to stop doing that, you know,
Oh wow.
and actually pay the 30p or whatever. So I'm not saying who, but you know what? This is someone.
Oh my gosh.
this,
Listen.
but yeah, I just
Do what
think
you gotta do, man. 30p. It adds up in it. So
it adds up, but you know what? I'm just saying this is just a season of just everything is getting found out. And then the other thing I was thinking, I was like, "Ah, if I were the CEO's wife, right? I think the lady's also married, right? But
yeah,
I was
she
thinking
is, yeah.
about if I was the CEO's wife, because apparently people found her on Facebook and we're now going on her Facebook, which I thought was a bit like,
It's a bit cross. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then she like changed her name, like removed his last name from her Facebook. But I was thinking, you know what? Of course, yes, come to me as a woman or whatever, right? Imagine when the whole world now knows. Okay, what if like I was happy. My husband is a billionaire, right? We've got the kids. I'm making a lot of assumptions. I know nothing about this lady, right? I am, going to my reformer Pilates every Tuesday and Thursday. I have,
Coffee with the girls every
coffee
Thursday
with the
evening.
girls. I
Okay.
have, you know, go swimming like with the kids. Every now and then I, go to like an old people's home to like help them with this and that. I'm doing content. I've started a TikTok account. I'm growing my account. I am so happy, right? We're so
Mhm.
comfortable. Um, Maybe I've seen things here and there or whatever, but you know what? Ignorance is bliss.
Yep.
I'm living my life like it's golden. And now you guys are like, leave him,
Pressuring me.
leave him, leave him now. Leave
But you see, this is why I don't get involved in some of these things sometimes
Why?
because you get involved too busy. Yeah, what, even if it's
Yeah,
petty family stuff. Let me not
yeah,
swear on your podcast. Right?
yeah.
As much as I'm the shareholder, let me not do it. But even if it's petty family stuff,
Mm,
what if they stay together? Then what?
yeah.
You look like a mug. You know that big Sports Direct mug?
Mm,
So end
mm,
up looking like because you're busy. You know, leave him. He's not good for you. Leave her. She's not good for you. You're busy instigating people to leave each other. But what
yeah,
if they sit down together and say they don't want to leave each other? They're okay with it.
yeah,
Because it's highly possible that they can be okay with it
yeah,
and they
yeah,
can come to some form of resolution.
yeah,
Or worse off. Maybe
yeah.
she knew and she
Yep.
let it happen. Baby, I'll book the tickets for you and your girl.
Like like let me get some fresh air. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I just thought sometimes, like, obviously it's all really bad, but I do think, as with anything, there is an element of when the public now knows, and just that pressure. Sometimes when
Yeah.
it's just you, like, you may know, right? But if you're just like, you know what, I like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it is what
turn
it
a
is.
blind eye. But then now I think it's just that thing of people just like random strangers, like, why are you still with this person or whatever. so
It's just
so
weird.
so I kind of felt like, although people are sympathizing with the spouses, I do think there is kind of like pressure to be like, leave this person, which I think is a bit unfair for us when we literally don't know, like,
Yeah.
the basics. But yeah. But anyway, it reminded me, like, years ago, like one of my friends reminded me years ago, when I worked at Barclays. Anyway, it's many years ago. The branch manager, right? Um, we caught him, like, went out after work, caught
Yeah.
him kissing this lady who worked in the branch. Like, she had just got joined, and it was one of those things. I don't know what she was doing, but she was working there, whatever. And like, we saw them together, right? They didn't see us,
Yeah.
but we bumped into them later on. But I don't know if but I remember I was thinking, wait, what? What's going
It's
on? But anyway, moved on.
listen.
And then literally like weeks later or whatever, she had a card. She's like, "Oh, do you want to sign this card? It's Darren's up." Oh, she never said this. But anyway, this was years ago. Doesn't listen to the show, I'm sure. I was like, "Oh, it's his anniversary." I'm thinking,
Huh?
first of all, like who's
Come again?
who signs like anniversary cards, right?
Yeah, this is when
And
you
then
start talking
secondly,
phone care.
you. It's just like that was like I think at the time there's the I was 21. I remember at the time I was like, ah, people are wicked.
Phone
I
care.
said, people are so wicked.
What? Phone care? Listen,
Damian Grrr.
I had a very similar situation where two of my work colleagues, I hardly, if there's one person that's a bit, I don't care if people say it's stuck up or whatever, I don't care. I don't usually go for work functions.
Yeah.
If you say let's go out, what dinner for as a work colleagues, no, I've spent too much time with you clowns already. I don't want to. Why should I spend another hour with you? I don't want to. And
Hmm.
this one time, I just decided, you know what? Let me just show face.
Yeah.
All right. I say every 5 years, I have to show face. So they know I breathe too, right? So
Yeah.
they know I'm a human being too. So I thought, let me just show face. We went out to this bar, we're just chilling, had some food, um, had some couple of drinks. And then I thought, you know what? I love disappearing whenever I'm in a crowd just to go see
Mm,
what's going on around. Disappeared, walked
mm,
around, just seeing what's going on. It was quite a large place. Walked into another sort of adjacent room. There were like a lot of people in there who
mm,
were just, sitting, chilling. And I saw two of my work colleagues
mm.
kissing, but they didn't see me. Bear in mind, they both had partners.
Ah,
And it's just like, okay,
yeah.
cool. Walked away, left it at that. And
Yeah.
then weeks later, you start, when you're hearing these conversations, if you're on those morning calls or whatever it is, morning conversations, it's like,
Yeah.
we hardly ever had one. I think it was like one every week or something. So
Yeah.
we'd catch up maybe after every 2 weeks or something. And it's like, how's Mary doing? And it's just like, what do you mean, how's Mary doing when you're busy lipsing her man? How's the family doing? You're busy lips in her man and you're busy asking how's the family doing. What?
Oh my God. Let me
It's
tell you,
crazy.
these work wife, work husband things are
Listen,
just
it's a thing. It's a thing. I'm just saying, it's a thing. We've seen things out here. And that of the
yeah.
lot is probably the mildest. That of the
Yeah.
lot. Hey, yo, did you see about the whole we're talking about a lot of doctors and nurses cheat
Uh-huh.
on night
Okay.
shift. Right. So one of the highest infidelity rates is at night shift
Really?
nurses, doctors. And someone said, yes, them Zimbabwean nurses, we know them. Yo, I died.
Who said that?
Also, it was one of the people commenting. They're like, them Zimbabwean nurses, we know it. And then when you see people coming and say, yep, 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 it's like, whoa, boy. Yep, yeah,
Damian.
yep. What thing gonna go see? Mama night shift law. What the
Nah,
night shifts are a terrible disease.
we need to defend our honor. The Zimbabwean women do not engage in.
Hey, they just said Zimbabweans.
Okay, yeah, the men, I can't
Listen, black man don't cheat.
vouch, but Zimbabwean women, next to God, as in
Black men don't cheat. Don't you know that?
next to God, cleanliness, then as a woman. Like that's the order. God,
All I know is
cleanliness,
black men
woman.
don't cheat, so no one can tell me anything. So who's cheating?
But anyway, talking about anyways, I was gonna say talk about cheating. Well, no. Um, listen, guys. Brian, thank you again so much for your time.
You're most welcome.
And I think we've floated this a few weeks back. So this is going to be the final, well, not the final episode. After this episode, gonna take a break, right? So this is gonna be, yeah, the last episode for some months. Just taking a break. Like I listened to Trevor Noah's podcast, and I heard Trevor Noah saying, "Oh, we're gonna take a break for a few months." I said, "Ah, if Trevor can do it, who am I?" Like
If Trevor can do it, who Trevor?
Trevor can do it, and he's earning money from his podcast. I'm not. So listen, I too can take a break. So listen, guys. So the plan is, take a break, come back end of September, October. So that's just about like 2 months break. I need to focus on my walking challenge.
Lang summer. Focus on the summer, please.
I need to
Yeah.
focus on the summer, and I think I mentioned that. Oh my God, work has been a blessing. But there's just a lot happening. So I desperately need to take this break so that I can come back and give you guys the content that is well thought out. And I just felt like I was now like rushing episodes, which is not what this is about. And I need time to reach out to certain people who've been in touch. So that this gives us time. So I'm saying us, Brian, because I'm gonna pull you into some things to help
As
with.
always.
Um, yeah, so that we can like speak to people, record interviews and stuff like that with no pressure, and then come back September, October. And yeah, like let me know who you guys want to hear from, what you guys would like. Yeah, what you guys would like from this platform, what I should consider doing more, and make sure like send a message to Brian and thank him because
Listen
he
to you.
Brian has been like our like regular, and he's just taking time out of his very, very busy schedule. So yeah, no, just want to say thank you to everyone. So we've started like October, right? So this is July. So we had like oh, a run from October to July, a mixture of, having regular guests come on or solo episodes or interviews. So I feel like I've found the rhythm of what this show is supposed to do, and I have greater plans. I just need more time. I need money. If anyone, if anyone wins the lottery, please send some money my way. Um, But yeah, I want us to continue having conversations, creating a library of conversations of us as migrants. Brian, at the beginning, you talked about, that feeling of like, oh, no, I'm not like African enough, or I'm not, European enough, whatever. Like,
Yeah,
basically, this is the space where we are a constituency, right? People who are, not at home, whatever. We are a whole constituency and we matter. So
yeah.
these are the conversations that we're going to have, and we're going to have fun as well. And yeah, no, I'm really, really, really excited. So just bear with me just for the few months, and guys, make sure you join the walking challenge. But yeah, and yeah, no, just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone. Shout out to Chieza, who joined as a host before. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to Lola Akinmade, the author who came on, and shout out to Kazanga, and shout out to you guys who kind of got me the Kazanga interview, because we're just tagging him, and then he came on. So yeah, that's it. We're going out of office and then back with a new look, and more energy, and more whatever. So Lisa Leguche and Brian, any last words before we close?
No, no, just to say thank you to the people. Obviously, we, I jump on, you jump on because we love talking.
Yes.
But most of all, we wouldn't love talking if people didn't like listening to us. So it kind of works. So
Yes.
thank you guys. Really appreciate you guys. Whether the community is small or big, it doesn't matter. We're still a community. Whether you're in South Africa, Zimbabwe, US, UK, it doesn't matter. We're still a community and we face the same challenges. Yeah. So we've got to look after one another. But thank you all so much.
Yes. Thank you guys. Lisa Leguche. Bye.